Hello and welcome to the weekly Global Heartstream. I'm Gabriel Gonzalez, a professional coach, artist, and speaker who enjoys traveling the world, connecting with amazing people, and talking about the longest, most rewarding journey that you'll ever embark on, the 12-inch journey between your head and your heart. Through individual and group coaching programs, online courses, and live seminars, I teach a heart-centered approach to personal mastery, leadership development, and spiritual growth that helps people become the most loving, joyful, and powerful version of themselves. The Global Heartstream is a weekly dedicated space to help you reconnect with your heart, raise your vibrational frequency, and remind you just how powerful, loving, and amazing you already are. It's also an invitation to unify our hearts with the intention of bringing more love, compassion, and healing to a world that so desperately needs it. You can find out more about my work by visiting gabrielgonzalez.com, where you can also sign up for my weekly newsletter, join the Heart Leader community, and register for my upcoming seminars. And if you enjoy this Heartstream, please be sure to subscribe, like, or comment so that we can reach more people and help make this a more loving, compassionate, and heart-centered world. Hello and welcome to the weekly Heartstream. I'm your host, Gabriel Gonzalez, and today we're talking about the Manger inside your heart. Welcome, Ana Lopez. Hello, Mariette in windy and hectic South Africa, Cape Town. Hello, Amanda. I have a feeling that today is going to be a smaller group than we normally are because there's a lot of people who are traveling to see their loved ones. There are people wrapping up their work. There are people doing their Christmas shopping. There are people planning their year. There are people who already left on vacation and unplugged from the internet and everything else. So, as Amanda said a little moment ago when she wrote in her comment, this is a cherished space. So thank you, all of you who are here with me today, because together we are uniting our hearts. And that's really what makes this space cherish, is that we put our love into it and we show up fully. We come here in the name and nature of love to open our hearts, to experience our connection, even though we are thousands and thousands of miles apart, and ultimately travel the same journey, the journey into our hearts, so that once there, we can then connect with what the Sufis refer to as the men inside the heart, or the presence inside the heart, the lotus flower, the sacred heart of Christ, the flame of divinity that burns within. I don't care what you call it, but the invitation is that we travel that journey together, supporting one another, knowing that when two or more people gather with the same intention, we actually create an amplified field where that intention then becomes empowered, and then we become more powerful than the individual parts. That's the power of what Dale Carnegie would call a mastermind. But since we're bringing our hearts together, I'd rather call it the master heart. Hello, Danielle Caputo, all the way from New York, in-house quarantine. No Christmas this year. Please pray for me and my family. Peace and love. God bless you. Stay safe. Thank you, Danielle. Yeah, there's a lot of people under quarantine right now. A lot of people who are going home and they have to be quarantined just so that they can go home. But shouldn't it be the other way around? You're like, when you leave home to go to a new place. The world does seem more and more and more upside down, doesn't it? Which makes it even more important that we then do our best to anchor ourselves in the only place where we're really going to find what the world cannot offer us. That inner sense of peace and grounding that can only come about when we really connect with what is ultimately eternal. It cannot be seen with the naked eye, but can be felt with the heart. We put our attention there. All right, so I have a couple of announcements I'd like to make before we dive into today's topic. And is that in a couple of days, I'm going to be releasing Heartstart 2022. Can you believe it? For those of you who've been members of the Heart Leader community or have been following my work for years, you know that this is a yearly exercise that I do and invite everyone on my email list to participate. It's a year-end reflection process that allows you also to bring a sense of closure, conscious completion to the year that just went by, to reconnect ultimately with what's really true, meaningful, and important for you within your heart, so that then you can then create a new vision or affirm and clarify your vision for the year that it's about to start, and choose what it is that you're going to start focusing on and begin to take some bold, courageous step in the direction of this person that you are becoming. You're in the process of becoming. So if you subscribe to my newsletter, or if you're a member of the Heart Leader community, you will automatically get a notification once it's open. This will be the last time that I'm going to be offering this yearly exercise as a gift to my subscribers. Beginning next year, it will be paid. It will be a paid program. Basically, we're making some changes with regards to the community and the engagement of people there. And so the Heartstart program starting next year will be included as part of an ongoing membership benefits for people that choose to take the next step and commit to a higher level in the community. So I will also be posting it in the comments in the the community tab here in my Facebook channel. Okay, so you'll get notified if you follow me on here on YouTube by going to my community tab. If you're a member of the community, you'll get the notification. If you're subscribed to my newsletter, you will then receive the announcement as well. And this will begin on, this will launch basically on Friday. And it includes 3 workshops. Okay, you get the guide, you get the PDF guide that is basically a self-inquiry process for you to do at your own pace and your own time. But then I'm going to schedule, we're going to have 3 workshops beginning on this coming Monday, the 27th, and then another one January 3rd and January 10th, each one focusing on a specific part of the process. The first one obviously will be about wrapping up the year, bringing closure. The second one will be about building a vision for the year ahead, focusing on those goals you would like to achieve or that next step that you'd like to move into. And then the last session will be primarily a guided meditation process to really send you on your way. Okay, so if you're not on my newsletter, please sign up by going to my website, gabrielgonzalez.com. Okay. All right, I think that's it for now. So if you recall, this whole month we've been focusing on this topic of emotional self-mastery. Learning how to take full responsibility for our emotional well-being, and then from that space, being able to communicate from a place of greater compassion, choosing how to respond to others from greater compassion. As we start to explore this topic, we began the conversation around what it means to communicate compassionately. And for the past few weeks, we explored the communications that we have with ourselves, where it all begins, and then how to communicate much more kindly and compassionate with others. Today we're going to dive into the birthplace of compassion within ourselves, which is really where our own personal Christhood lives, in the manger within our own hearts. Now, if you're Christian or have been part of the Christian culture, and the reason I say this is because I grew up in Venezuela and I was raised Catholic, but I call myself as culturally Catholic, but not necessarily a practicing one. And the reason I say this is because I went to Catholic school. I went to Catholic everything all my life. All right, the priests in the schools would literally force the Bible down our throat to the point of me not wanting to have anything to do with anybody that had a Bible. And whenever somebody showed up with a Bible, it's like, oh no, here's another priest trying to convert me or save me or whatever. And funny enough, after years of basically being an atheist, and then following, what I can refer up to this day more like a spiritual approach to spirituality. It wasn't really until I began to explore what Christ consciousness was that I really began to awaken to the messages that this well-intentioned priest and minister when I was growing up had. Because in the stories, in the mythology that are part of our Christian tradition, there are some of the most beautiful stories that appears to be about something that happened just over 2,000 years ago. But in the end, it's a story that's trying to explain a mystery that is far more complex than any story or any book or any film could be. It's trying to explain, in essence, what is really happening inside each and every one of us. Our ancestors did leave a framework that we could follow. If we could see beyond the literal meaning of things, I could actually focus more on the mystical interpretation of these events and discovered that what we're really, in essence, talking about is really about something really beautiful, powerful, mysterious, innocent, pure, that is born within each and every one of us. The moment when we choose to leave the world, what is known to us, the world of the intellect, the world of preconceived ideas of right or wrong, and entered into a sacred space, a humble space. And that is the manger of our hearts. Danielle here is saying, I am a Catholic Buddhist, a unique soul having a unique experience. 12. Yes, I love that, Danielle. Yeah. I don't know what I am. I don't know what I am. When I was, for some of you, you may not know this, but I did a 3-year program in consciousness of ministry under what is called the New Thought Ancient Wisdom Tradition, the Emerson Institute in California. And for 3 years, I held a space for a small spiritual community as their pastor, their minister. And part of the training required studying all the different spiritual traditions, the ones that we know most about, but then some that many of us had never even heard of. But then also study evolutionary spirituality, quantum physics, philosophy, and then read about what the contemplative philosophers had to say and what the postmodern philosophers had to say. And then at the end of that training, we were asked to choose basically what had resonated the most with us so that we could begin some kind of a ministry around those values, those principles. And to me, what spoke to me the loudest was anything that spoke about the heart for some reason, from the scientific perspective, from the evolutionary and quantum physics perspective, from the philosophical perspective, from the Judeo-Christian Islamic perspective as well. And so I remember as I was learning and from these different teachers and masters, I came across the work of I had his name in the tip of my tongue just a little while ago, but then I started talking about blah, 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 blah without breathing, and then I lost it. Howard Thurman, thank you so much. So you have to kind of forget about it before I can remember it. Dr. Howard Thurman. In case you never heard of Dr. Howard Thurman, he was the spiritual mentor of Martin Luther King. He was the dude that Martin Luther King would come to when he had his ass kicked and he needed somebody to hold a space of unconditional love and remind him who he was. And once a reporter came to Howard Thurman to ask him and said, "Dr. Thurman, are you a Christian?" And this was his answer. He said, "If you mean if I am a follower of a religion made about a man named Jesus, then no, I'm not a Christian. But if you mean if I follow the teachings of a man named Jesus, the Christ, then yes, I am a Christian." And when people ask me, then like, "Are you a Christian?" I always feel like basically just pulling that one out of my hat and replying in the same way in which Dr. Thurman replied, and then just saying, "I'm a follower of the teachings of the Master, who taught really nothing but love. How to be more loving towards yourself, towards your brothers, your sisters, towards your enemies especially. The hardest kind of love, when we're asked to love someone we don't agree with, somebody who's hurting us, somebody who's inflicting pain in us out of their own fear, their own ignorance, whatever that may be. Right? It's there where these muscles are built strong. When we choose, not because we have to, not because it's the Christian thing to do, not because Jesus taught it, but because we made a commitment in some level to follow in the footsteps, as Danielle said just now in her comment, to follow in the footsteps of the Masters, to follow his example. Okay, that's what it means. And so, there's a great mistranslation I found out when I was doing this training. I was exposed to what is called the George Lamsa's version of the Bible. George Lamsas was a Syrian Aramaic scholar, Bible scholar, who spoke the same Aramaic dialect that Jesus spoke, and translated what is referred to as the Peshitta, or the original Bible in the East, that was written in Aramaic, not the Latin one, the Peshitta one. And in it, every reference that is made to Jesus when he said, "Do this in my name," the word "name" was, according to George Lamsas, a mistranslation, because the original meaning of the word "name" was "in my nature." So according to George Lamsas, what Jesus actually said was, "Do this in my nature." In other words, do this in the same way in which I am doing this. Right? In other words, follow my footsteps, dudes. Okay? Do what I'm doing. Do as I'm teaching you. Break bread together. Do this thing. Do that thing. Don't fall asleep. Yeah, exactly. So that is the invitation. And so what we are in essence invited to do, not just now, but more specifically at this time of the year, is to not look for a master outside that exists in some pages in some old book. Not look for somebody else's interpretation, oftentimes literal, but invite this master, invite this teacher to inhabit that sacred temple within your heart. And then from that temple within your heart, let this presence of unconditional love within you, let it speak to you in a language in which only you can understand, in a language in which your soul can understand. But for that to happen, though, it requires that you create a space within you so that this consciousness can be welcomed, so that the light of this presence, which is unconditional loving in essence, okay, if from this moment forward you replace the word Christ consciousness with unconditional love consciousness, please know that it's exactly the same. Remember that Christ is just a title, like the Buddha. The Buddha is a title that means the awakened one. Christ is a title that means the anointed one. The anointed, because people are anointed with oil, right? Normally. Ungire is the word in Italian and in Latin. It means to smear with oil. Why? Well, because oil carries the essence. The olive oil carries the essence of the olive. Jasmine oil carries the essence. And so the awakened one awoke to his divinity. The Christ discovered, claimed his spiritual essence, his spiritual intelligence within himself as a spiritual essence, to the point of saying, I and the Father are one. I mean, at his time, that cost him his life. But we live in a different, completely period in which more and more and more and more and more sons and daughters of God everywhere, regardless of their nationality, regardless of their creed, they're just simply affirming, I am one with the divine. I and the Father are one, I and the Mother are one. Basically means the divine feminine, the part of God that is feminine and the part of God that is masculine, live in me. I am their son and daughter. And that's ultimately what this nativity scene ultimately represents. I want to invite you that from this moment forward, every time you go out on the streets, you go shopping, you go visit a friend, and you see a nativity scene, you're going to see there St. Joseph, you're going to see the Virgin Mother, and of course, baby Jesus. And then you're going to see the little shepherd boys, you're going to see the beasts, right? All the witnesses to the miracle. And I want you to imagine that inside of your heart, that same scene is playing out every single day. Your heart is both masculine and feminine. It's got a systoles and diastoles. It gives and it receives. So it's got a father and it's got a mother. It's got a part of it that is receptive. That's what the Virgin Mother represents. Available, open, receptive. And it's got a masculine part that gives, that provides. That's what St. Joseph represents. And it's got within also this 1/16 of an inch little flame that represents the birth of the consciousness that is the only begotten Son of the Father and the Mother inside. Whew. That is your divine essence right there. Being witness in the presence of what? Your animal self. Yeah. Being in the presence of that part of you that is childlike. Being in the presence of the humble, moist, yet welcoming space in which the miracle of life is taking place each and every day. Because every heartbeat is an indication that you're here, that you are alive, and that you have so much to be grateful for. 100,000 times a day, your heart is beating. Lub-dub, 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 lub-dub. We notice the lub-dub. We notice the masculine, the feminine at times, to the point that if our hearts were to skip a beat or we get some kind of arrhythmia right away, pause, we notice like, what happened? Right? But in there, in that space, in the middle, between the systoles and the diastoles, invisible to the naked eye, there is the spark, flame of unconditional love, giving you life, reminding you, I am the divine within me. So every time that we come into the circles and you hear me say or pray in the name of my beloved I am presence and of my holy Christ self. I am in essence saying, in the name of my divine essence, both masculine and feminine, the Father and the Mother, and in the name of the only begotten Son and daughter of God, which is my own holy Christ self, which is my connection to the Father and the Mother. It is in that name, it is in that nature that we then go into meditation. It is in that name and that nature that we then heal, expand, grow, ask for wisdom, ask for guidance, ask for healing. It is by remembering over and over again, by going back into that sacred chamber, into that manger inside of the heart, that we then reconnect with a sense of humility. We leave behind everything that we think we know to enter into what is. The I am. That's what is. I am. That is what you are in essence. That is the space where your life is being created moment to moment. That is the space from which you can then make changes. With that as an introduction, I'd like to now invite you to come into this sacred manger within your heart. Taking a few moments now to initiate our transition from this conversation about the Christ child and the nativity scene and all those concepts and ideas, as we now begin to make our way inward into our physical bodies. Please close your eyes. And during the next few moments, just give yourself permission to, in silence, relax and let go of any unnecessary tension. See if you can feel your heartbeat. For the next few moments, simply pay attention to that gentle lub-dub in the middle of your chest. And if you need to, bring your hand over to the middle of the chest so you can feel it. Now begin to breathe straight into the heartbeat. Imagine you could breathe straight through the chest and into the heart. Breathing nice and slow, deep and evenly. As you breathe in and out of the heart, you release and let go of any unnecessary tension. Experiencing a deeper connection with your physical body. Welcoming any thought, any sensation, any feeling as it arises. Welcoming also any resistance to being present and to be here now. Now, imagine standing outside in nature in one of your favorite places. It's warm, it's sunny, and you feel at home in this space. It's a space that is dear to you, that you enjoy being in. Notice as the sun begins to wane, as it makes its transition into the horizon and begins to dim slowly, allowing the darkness to fill the air. The day transitioning into night. And right above you, just over your head, a beautiful star shining alone in the night. See the star. Feel its glow. This is the Star of Bethlehem. The word Bethlehem means the house of bread. It's the light of those who are hungry, who are thirsty for that which the world could not provide. We now notice how this star begins to lower itself as it begins to make its way down into the earth. Until we feel that the star is right above our head, right where our crown chakra is. We feel its glow, we feel its warmth. We know that that which we've hungered for is close by, it's near. And then softly the star begins to enter through the top of our heads, entering through the crown as it begins to make its way through the center of the head, behind the eyes, behind the nose, behind the mouth, down our throat, until it places itself right in the heart, lighting up the scene within our own hearts, in the manger within. There we see the Holy Family. We see the Virgin Mother, Saint Joseph, the baby Christ, the beasts, the shepherds, all of them inside our hearts. Star of Bethlehem illuminating the humble, simple cave within, warming up the child, bringing comfort and joy. Now, imagine that the Virgin Mother now picks up the child, and as she picks him up with great love, she hands this child to you, so that it is you now who's holding this divine child. You bring him close to your heart, embracing him, feeling the innocence and the power, feeling the purity of this child. For the next few moments, feel this warm embrace and commune with the presence of this divine man-child as I speak the following words on your behalf. In the name of the Father, the Mother, the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. In the name of the I Am Presence and the Holy Christ Self of everyone here today, and speaking on their behalf, I call forth the divine light of the Christ child to be reborn in our hearts on this day. I call forth the temple of the living God within each and every one of us to be fully made known and manifest in a way that each person can recognize it and can understand. Let there be light in our hearts. Let the star of Bethlehem shine within. Let the divine Father and Mother within expand. Let the consciousness and the purity of the Christ child shine within. May our hearts be this place for the Immaculate Conception of Divinity to be realized today and every day. For this is our Christ self. This is the consciousness of He who walks in the steps of the Master. This is the consciousness of unconditional love that can heal anything, that can make the crooked straight, to whom nothing is impossible. This is the Father within. This is the I and the Father are one. This is our very own beloved Holy Christ self, our Buddha nature, our Atman presence, the consciousness of unconditional love. Today I welcome it, I seize it, I rejoice in it. And I choose to keep it alive in my heart from this moment forward. Thanking our traditions for constantly reminding us of the greater miracle that is happening within us each and every day. Thanking Divinity for all the healing, for all the lessons of this past year. Thanking God and letting God now dwell within our body temple, declaring our hearts the temple of the living God, declaring our hearts a sacred temple where the divine light of God, the Holy Christ flame, shines within. For this I am infinitely grateful and thankful, and I let this be the light of God that shines within me. And so it is, and it is so. Amen. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. I am thy kingdom come. I am thy will being done. I am on earth even as I am also in heaven. I am giving this day daily bread to all. I am forgiving all of life even as I am also all of life forgiven me. I am keeping all men from temptation. I am delivering all men from every evil condition. I am the kingdom. I am the power. I am the glory of God in eternal, immortal manifestation. I am the light of Christ in my heart, shining in the darkness of being, and changing all into the golden treasury of the mind of Christ. I am projecting my love out into the world, erasing all errors and breaking down all barriers. I am the power of infinite love amplifying itself until it is victorious, world without end. I am the love, I am the wisdom, I am the power of the Godhead shining in me. All this I am. In Jesus' name, in the same nature as Christ prayed, I declare it so. and it is so. Amen. Gently, we initiate now our journey back. Choosing now to hold on to this feeling. Choosing to continue to cultivate the light within the manger of our own hearts. We begin now to move our bodies and awaken once again to the fullness of our physical realities around us. Taking a moment to check in with ourselves and how we're feeling right now. Jennifer, how are you feeling? Mariette, Danielle, how are you feeling? Ana Lopez Lopez, Tina, Mary, what are you feeling? PJ, Danielle, Amanda, how are you doing? The second coming of Christ. It's not a literal coming. It has to do more with an awareness that is coming back into the planet. Second coming of Christ, I believe, is in our hearts. And it's inevitable. Inevitable. Nothing can stop it. Because here's the thing. Once love has been invited to dwell in, it will begin to make its way in and rip through all the unlovingness. And really, that's what's happening. If you look around you, what we're really seeing is an increase of the light, quoting, on this planet, and therefore increase of Christ consciousness happening. And then all the unlovingness coming up to the surface. All the lies, all the deceit, all that had been hidden from the naked eye, everything that had been hidden, all the unlovingness. It's not coming forth. Why? So that it can be healed. So that it can be embraced, so it can be let go, so that it can be surrendered. Now more than ever, people like you, like me, are needed to come together in places like this, the sacredness of our own homes, to reconnect so that we can continue to build an planetary grid of unconditional love that is supporting this incredible times in which we live. For every person that rises into the energy of unconditional love, you bring 500,000 people with you. That's how powerful the energy of unconditional love is. And that's why you owe it to yourself and to your own divinity and to the world to become the most loving version of yourself, and to continue to do whatever you can to maintain your vibration, to stay in a place of greater ease. All right, my beautiful friends. As I said at the very beginning, on Friday we're going to be launching Heartstart 2022. So if you were here at the very beginning and you'd like to participate, I'd love for you to join. We'll be making the announcement here on YouTube through the community tab, and then also if you subscribe to my newsletter, you get the announcement and the invitation. If you're already a member of the Heart Leader community, then you'll get the automated message there sent to you so that you can join us. You'll be able to start the process on your own and then join us for 3 consecutive Mondays where we're going to be helping you bring conscious completion to this year, and then affirm a new vision for your life, and then give you some very powerful tools that will allow you to manifest that vision in the year that just begins, so that you can get exactly that. You can get a hard start to your 2022. All right. You can sign up for my newsletter at my website, gabrielgonzalez.com. Thank you so much for your beautiful comments. Danielle says, such a feeling of divine peace. Your Sacred Heart transmission found me during a health crisis and breakdown in 2015. I'm so grateful for you, Gabriel, and your beautiful healing work. You're welcome. Very glad, Danielle, that the guided meditation has been supporting you through your healing journey. Ana Lopez says, he's already here in consciousness. Yes. Yeah. Well, the truth is, he never really left. That's like the big joke. Just like God, really. God, we've been told this story like God created the earth and then like kicked us out of paradise and then he left, But the truth is, we were never kicked out. And he's still here with us, both Father and the Son, and the Mother as well, of course. Danielle says, Merry Christmas to all and beautiful souls here, loving family in Christ. Mary says, Merry Christmas, Jennifer. Mary also says, what? Heading to the airport. Oh my goodness, so you're traveling the other way. Oh, that's fantastic. Good. All right. Jennifer Rasiski says, Merry Christmas. Amanda says, magic. Thank you, Gabriel. Lots of hearts. Anna says, what a beautiful experience. Danielle says, I feel so wonderful and grounded. I was having a meltdown this morning with Dad, Vietnam vet, coming home with COVID. Feel so blessed. Thank you. Great. You're welcome. Emily says, I feel so joyful. The unconditional love is alive. Be looking forward to the light of Jesus to enter our hearts again in this special period of the year. Beautiful. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Emily. You're welcome. Let's see. PJ says, we'll keep you in mind during the rosary de la misericordia that I pray with my grandma today. Muchas gracias, PJ. Mary says, bringing my daughter, silly. Oh, okay. Yeah, I hope you're talking about your silly daughter. I hope it's not me that you're calling silly after this wonderful Christ meditation. Just joking. All right, my beautiful friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this very special time. Just a couple of days before our Christmas. Whatever you choose to do during this special time of the year, stay in your heart. Okay, stay in your heart. If you feel sad, if you remember your loved ones that are not with you, if you feel lonely, if you feel the void. For many of us, it's almost inevitable this time of the year. Remember that you can give yourself permission to feel that void, feel that sadness, feel those emotions, and at the same time, be able to hold them within your heart. And if it gets to a point where it's just basically unbearable, given what you just experienced today, how about just simply asking the Master, ask Jesus, ask the Buddha, ask any divine being of unconditional love and compassion, and in your prayer to them, say something to the effect of like, "Dear Jesus, please help me hold this suffering. Help me hold this sadness. Walk with me, Master. Don't let me be alone with this sadness. Walk with me. Keep me company." And then be open for something really wonderful and fantastic to happen after you do that. All right, my wonderful friends, have a Merry Christmas. I look forward to seeing you next week when we're going to be going through a process to help you consciously complete this past year. Until then, please take care of yourself. Merry Christmas. And I send you all my love from my heart to yours. Bye-bye for now. Thank you for joining me in this week's Heartstream. I hope you're walking away feeling more connected to yourself and your divinity, to the planet, to others, and to all of life. Please be sure to subscribe so that you can receive notifications about upcoming broadcasts. And if you would like to sign up for my weekly newsletter, join the Heart Leader community, or register for my upcoming trainings and seminars, be sure to visit my website, GabrielGonzalez.com. Until the next time, please take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. And as always, I send you all my love from my heart to yours. Bye for now.